Welcome back. Welcome back, y'all. It's your boy Hicks. Back with another video. Today, we're gonna be reacting to why these SoundCloud rappers fell off, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, SoundCloud has been a staple into my life, to a lot of people's lives. You know what I'm saying? That's when I first heard Uzi. That's when I first heard Cardi. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like obviously go on SoundCloud for leaks. You know that, SoundCloud is a resting place for a lot of these artists. You know what I'm saying? A lot of youngins don't know that. They just listen to the music and be like, oh, I've been on him. No, you really haven't, type stuff. You feel me? But hey, man, what's it called? Make sure you guys go like, subscribe, and also make sure you guys go turn on the post notifications so you guys get notified every single time I post. And also make sure you guys go follow my socials down below, my TikTok and also my Instagram. Know that I will be posting on them soon, but surely. Feel me? But yeah, man, we're going to react to this and let's get it.
The SoundCloud era. Every time I just hear the name of that platform, a fat wave of nostalgia hits me as I reminisce on all the bangers and hits that we got from 2016 to 2019 when it came to the new gen of rap. But in case you didn't know, we've kind of been over this before. Sure, the SoundCloud era gave us talents like HICKS, Juice, Uzi, and Cardi, whose music is going to be listened to for decades. I know that just pissed some of y'all off. The SoundCloud era also had its fair share of casualties in terms of career, fame, and popularity. Now, in my first video covering some of these SoundCloud fallen soldiers, I feel like the criteria wasn't nearly big enough and many people didn't even know about the artists that I spoke about. So today we're gonna fix that. Here's the criteria. Number 1, each artist must have either one or more songs with over 100 million views / listens, not 10 like last time. Number 2, they must have fallen off to a point where most people watching this video probably have never even thought about them in some time. And number 3, there must be a distinct reason as to why they fell off to the point that they did. So, my name is Grisha, and today we take a look at some of the fallen off artists of the SoundCloud era where we document how they gained their traction.
Comethazine, Labian, Namir, and Lil Mosey. Hey, very well known names. You feel me? Like, I think I still listen to Comethazine now. Like, Comethazine hard, but yeah.
What caused their
downfall? He fell off for sure.
Today, in order to continue to make a living. So first up is probably the smallest artist on this list in terms of peak numbers, but don't get it twisted, he was pretty popping during his come up, and that is Comethazine. Now, while being the smallest artist on today's list, Comethazine still put out hits during his prime in 2018, especially with his first album, Bosky. That tape alone has 3 songs with over 50 million streams on Spotify, those being Let It Eat featuring Ugly God, Bands, and of course, Walk. Speaking of Walk, this was also by far Comethazine's biggest hit, as I remember the song being one of the first songs to go viral on TikTok, which is pretty cool considering how many viral TikTok songs we have nowadays. Not only that though, the song was also followed up with a Lyrical Lemonade music video for it, which at that time in 2018, if you got a Lyrical Lemonade music video, you were basically guaranteed to go viral as long as it was good music. In fact, that Bosky tape essentially became a part of Comethazine's brand, as it would be the start of a series of projects similar to Trippie Redd's Love Letter projects and Lil Uzi Vert's Love Is Rage series, as he's currently teasing Love Is Rage 3. And honestly, I would be lying if I said that I didn't get excited when Comethazine announced Bosky 2 and Bosky 3. While Comethazine was never the most original sounding artist, something about him just appealed to me and many of his listeners, and it seemed that regardless of the project, any album he released would always contain 1 or 2 pretty big hits for him.
And I also like this music because, bro, he was so different. Like, bro was just yelling. Like, it's not like no 6ix9ine yelling, not no new rapper yelling and stuff. This is like some raw yelling type stuff. Like, his music was raw, and that's why I liked it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people liked his music because it was just so raw. You know what I'm saying? It was like the beats caught on to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man.
In 2019, he was chosen to be a XXL freshman, which doesn't really mean as much nowadays and has been on the decline since 2018, but that was still kind of a big deal back then, and it was obvious that Comethazine was on the come up. But what happened? How do you go from getting hundreds of millions of streams to a point where most people watching this video haven't checked out a Comethazine song in years probably? Well, when doing the research for this video, I was considering the fact of him maybe not dropping as consistently. I mean, after all, artists on the come up need to drop as much music as possible in order to maintain their relevance and keep elevating their popularity and sound. But if I'm being honest, I wouldn't even say that Comethazine was super inconsistent. Dude has dropped a project every single year since 2018, except for 2023, with some years even 2 projects dropping in 1 year. That's honestly way more consistent than a lot of other artists that fell off, so I wouldn't really blame it on that. I think the real problem with Comethazine was honestly just his sound. While Comethazine's quality of music never really fell off in my opinion, the fact of the matter is he essentially stayed making the same type of music for 3, 4, 5 years now. And while yes, you might be saying if the music is still decent, why should that matter? Well, the problem is, like I said earlier, Comethazine's sound and music was never something super revolutionary in my opinion. Sure, he's had some really fun songs that were bangers, but he was never really a needle mover or pioneer in music, unlike artists like Juice WRLD, Cardi, and Uzi, who have brought in new genres or made old style genres more popular. Because of this, Comethazine had no chance to gain new fans with every album release, since the people that wanted to hear his trap stuff could have listened to just his classic tapes like Bosky 1 and 2. This meant that the only thing that would happen was that he would actually lose fans after every release, since every time he dropped a project, there were always people that would get tired of that sound, which of course resulted in his label definitely not pushing him as hard once they saw the performance of projects like Bosky 4 and his self-titled album. Comethazine came up off the trap sound that was already popular before his blow up and had bigger artists in that genre that continued to just pretty much overshadow him. I don't think Comethazine's fall off was anywhere near as drastic as any of the artists in my last video, and it does seem like he still kind of has a cult fan base, which is honestly great, but I do think he's way past his prime at this point, and we shouldn't expect him to reach the same heights he did back in 2018 or 2019.
Hey, Comethazine is still hard in my books, but you know, like I listen to him here and there, but man, you know, like I just feel bad for these rappers, dog. Like, you know, they come out with that sound and they don't know how to revolution from that sound. They don't know how to get out of that sound. And that just makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of rappers are just like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of rappers don't get that proper teaching, you know. They get on the label. The label tells them, you know what I'm saying, keep coming out with this music. It's doing good, you know, it's pulling numbers. But they never tell them, like, how to keep pulling in those numbers, like, you know, for a very long period of time. Because I'll tell you, keeping those numbers for a long period of time, Uzi did it well, Cardi did it well, X still does it, and he passed away, but he still pulls in numbers. And Juice WRLD the same thing. But, you know, when you invest all that time into making those albums and making like that sound, trying to be perfect with that sound, like there's gonna be other rappers that come in the way, you know. So
now the next artist in today's video is actually Comethazine's XXL freshman classmate. Can you guess who I'm talking about? If you guessed the man himself, Lil Mosey, then yeah, you'd be correct.
I feel like the man, freshman of the year, I woke up like the man.
Alright, now we'll talk about that cypher a little more later, but this entry is really crazy to me. I mean, Lil Mosey was arguably top 3 breakout rappers in 2018. From his first songs to blow up being Pull Up and Booth Pack, to the Lyrical Lemonade hits that followed in Noticed and Kamikaze, Lil Mosey truly became a household name in less than a year. Just like Comethazine, Mosey really blew up and saw success thanks to the Lyrical Lemonade effect, except Mosey did it first. His debut project, North's Best, went gold and had a few album tracks that actually ended up really successful too, like Burberry Headband and Greet Her. After a fantastic breakout 2018, Mosey followed that up with an awesome 2019 as well, dropping songs like Bust Down Cartier, G-Walk, and Stuck in a Dream, which peaked at number 62 on the Billboard Hot 100, even overtaking his biggest song at the time, Notice, that only peaked at number 80. This was also the first of 2 singles that he would drop before his follow-up project Certified Hitmaker, which would also perform very well. Obviously, during the 2019 year, Mosey was also chosen to be a XXL freshman, but had a top-tier garbage freestyle in most people's opinions, so if anything, that kind of actually ended up hurting him, as people would start to make memes regarding his oversimplistic bars during the cypher.
And man, bro, like when everyone like heard that cypher, bro, yo, like I just remember people were just flaming, bro. Like it wasn't no good comment about bro's cypher or nothing. Like if y'all saw the comment section at that time, bro, there was no good comments, bro. I think everyone in their mama knew that Lil Mosey probably had the worst cypher of all time, to be honest. Like he literally had no work done in that cypher. Like he put no work into that. Like he made this cypher. You know what's funny? This cypher like people were saying this was the worst cypher ever because of his performance. And that just shows something, bro. That speaks volumes, bro.
However, even if 2019 wasn't as hot as Mosey's 2018, he would change all of that in 2020 by releasing his biggest song to date, Blueberry Faygo, after the leak of it went viral on TikTok. This also, in my opinion, is a prime example of why rappers should still release leaks, because the song now has over 1 billion streams on Spotify, and the music video, which was once again directed by Cole Bennett, has over 300 million views.
Damn.
However, little did we know that this would be the peak for Lil Mosey, as many songs after would not even come close to the amount of buzz his previous singles would get. Sure, he had a few one-offs that were fairly successful, like Jet Ski featuring Lil Tecca, but nowadays, Mosey is riding the wave of his biggest hits from years ago while struggling to even get over 5 million plays on his recent releases. But what happened to him? How did Mosey go from getting hundreds of millions of streams to only a couple million on every release, if that even? Well, here's where the story takes an unfortunate twist. In early 2021, Mosey was charged with SA for engaging with an individual that was incapable of giving consent. He pled not guilty, and apparently this was from an incident that happened in early 2020. While going through this trial, Mosey basically lost everything and was blackballed from the industry.
Bro, yo. Nah, but to be honest, he put that on himself, bro. Like, I tell you, whatever things you get into, it just comes with the territory. And you understand that these girls, these dudes, they'll do anything to get at your money. They'll do anything. And you already encouraging it, you aggravating what they're gonna do, bro. Come on, man. You gotta understand that. Hey, man, shit. Like, what's it called? I just say this, bro. He messed up. For real, for real. He messed up, man. He messed up. That's it.
No artist wanted to collaborate or even associate themselves with him. He received little to no promo on his music, and it seemed like this cost Mosey everything. You want to know the crazy part too? After 2 years, in March of this year, 2023, Mosey was found not guilty of the entire thing. Essentially, some false allegations put a massive pause on Mosey's career, resulting in many forgetting about him as an artist. And while yes, things are very slowly coming back, as Trippie Redd brought Mosey out at Rolling Loud LA earlier this year.
I remember seeing this, bro. Like, obviously I wasn't there, but I remember seeing this. Why did he bring him out? Was anybody really ready for a Lil Mosey performance?
And it seems like Mosey's starting to drop music again. Problem is that the rap game is a game of consistency. People want consistent music drops, and even then, sounds and trends change. Because of these 2 years that were essentially wasted, Mosey's career could suffer for years to come, which is the sad, unfortunate truth. And while I personally think that Mosey deserves a second chance, most people probably already forgot about how many bangers Mosey has made in the past, and we might never see him reach anywhere near this peak again, and now you know why. Speaking of why, that's a pretty funny letter, isn't it? Especially since it reminds me of the last artist we're gonna cover in today's video, YBN Nahmir. Was that cringe? Okay, I'm sorry. Whatever. This guy's story is honestly pretty crazy as well. Nahmir first rose to fame when his music video for Rubbing Off the Paint went absolutely viral on the World Star YouTube channel back in 2017.
That song was
making
hard.
this the earliest artist of the video to actually pop off. After the success of Rubbing Off the Paint, Nahmir would go on to drop a remix to Tay-K's The Race, as well as another single hit, Bounce Out With That, which was also accompanied by another Cole Bennett Lyrical Lemonade video. It's actually kind of crazy how many artists Cole helped in their come up, and I actually did a full video on Cole and Lyrical Lemonade as a whole. You should definitely check it out. But anyways, it seemed like everything was getting into place for Nahmir. With some really hot singles, all we now needed was a solid album for everything to continue growing. And we did get an album. But this was the start of the downfall. To really explain what happened next, we have to take a look at Nahmir's stage name, YBN Nahmir. YBN being a group that Nahmir started with his friends who also did music. Notable names of the group other than Nahmir included YBN Almighty J and YBN Corday as the other two core members, with guys like YBN Manny and YBN Glizzy being the smaller members of the group. Nahmir really wanted to make YBN the next big group and didn't only want himself to be successful, but for his friends to be right there with him. So So when it came to be album time, Namir dropped YBN The Mixtape, which was a collaboration project featuring both Almighty J and Cordae on damn near as many songs as Namir himself. And honestly, this plan that Namir had was kind of a success. Both Almighty J and Cordae ended up getting tons of exposure thanks to Namir and went on to have a couple of their own songs start performing really well at the time, like Almighty J with Chopsticks and Cordae with Kung Fu. However, this is where the problems would arise. Only a little while after, it seemed like the entire fan base was realizing that Cordae had a significantly larger amount of talent when it came to rap than both of his other group members.
Oh yeah. No, Cordae is lyrically like there, where the other group members is kind of like the mainstream, where he's like the outcast, he's the underrated one and all that. And that's what fans was noticing and all that. Like, that's just really what happens though. You know, when they obviously see where the real talent is coming from, oh, who's the real ghostwriter, who's the real one that like knows the bars and all that, they looked at Cordae.
And the narrative that the three letters in
I still look at Cordae. He hard too.
Him down started forming, which of course resulted in not only Cordae leaving YBN officially in 2020 by dropping the letters from his stage name, but the entire group going their separate ways. And it was obvious that this split hurt Namir. I mean, think about it. You rise to fame and use your success to put your closest friends on and give them a platform so that they can showcase their talents, but in turn they end up leaving you high and dry while they go on to have successful careers. Having your closest friends leave you after you help them so much must feel really shitty. Obviously, I'm sure there were tons of stuff that went down behind the scenes also, but the overall big picture is kind of obvious. Now after that, Namir did go on to drop that solo project that everyone was looking for back in 2018, but 3 years later in 2021, this was Visionland, and this is where things get even weirder. There were really 2 out of the 20 songs that ended up sticking out and being worth mentioning: Apostapa and Soul Train. Apostapa was Namir's first real hit in years, and he even got 21 Savage on the remix, which elevated the song even more, with the song having nearly 200 million plays on Spotify now. This was actually an absolute banger, and I believe it actually first got traction because it went viral on TikTok. Now, the other song that I mentioned, Soul Train, went viral for a completely different reason. Just listen to it.
Tryna be low key and stay away from the bullshit.
No, that's OD.
I'm sorry for making you hear that again, and if you somehow have never heard that before, you probably...
No, that sound effect was OD right there, bro. Bro, he did him dirty, but nah, that track was so garbage, bro. Oh my god, it was... Like, my mom liked it, bro, but it was just so garbage, like...
already clicked off the video, so I hope to see you again someday, maybe. Either way, this song went viral for all the wrong reasons. I mean, it sucked. I honestly don't know what bro was cooking here, and maybe this was some kind of marketing ploy to get his name out there again, but either way, it obviously didn't work out for the long term. Currently, Namir hasn't really dropped any music since August of 2022, but he still has over 4 million monthly listeners thanks to his older hits. What went so wrong, and how could he have prevented this fall off? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious based on what we talked about earlier, but if I was him, I definitely would have focused on my own career and putting myself in a position to guarantee a win before trying to put anyone else on. Namir should have dropped his own good solo project back in 2018 and made sure that he was going to have longevity in the rap game, and hell, he could have still even given Jay and Cordae like a feature each on it.
And it could have just been like not a group thing. It could have been like obviously it could have just been himself, and like they tag along here and there or whatnot. But because he made it a group thing, that's where he messed up, I think. And also at that, man, that song was just mad trash. Like,
really is a shame because it seemed like Namir really locked in and focused on his own success rather than trying to share the wealth early on. Things might have turned out differently, especially considering how Cordae is still currently very relevant with his newly released single collaboration with Juice WRLD going absolutely crazy right now. But I guess not all stories have happy endings, and the rap game can be really cruel. You can make the same music that you've always made and your fans fell in love with, but still see declining numbers. You can literally be forced out of the limelight due to allegations that ended up being completely made up. And
it's kind of like if a guy gets in a relationship with a bad female, you know, right? Bad, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? But the guy obviously see through the cracks and all that, and he sees that, is this female really worth it? You know what I'm saying? She's just bad, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing with music, bro. Like, oh, like music hard and all that, but at the same time, because like it sounds the same, bro. Like, why would anybody invest in that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just gonna be the same thing, bro. It's just that's just the sad part about it. You know what I'm saying?
And you can try and help out your friends only for them to not reciprocate that help when you're at your lowest. I really do hope that all three of these artists continue to experiment and release new music moving forward, because I do believe that all of them had made super dope songs that I still would listen to till this day. But we're just gonna have to wait and see, as their future in the music industry is still up in the air. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.
Hey, man, what's it called? That was a pretty dope video, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's it called? I feel bad for, especially I feel bad for Comethazine and YBN. Like, Lil Mosey, I didn't really like him, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? He's just one of the mainstream artists, to be honest. In my eyes, he's one of the mainstream artists. But Comethazine and YBN, I feel like they had real, like, potential. They had talent. I just feel like YBN, he introduced everybody to Cordae, and that was the thing that went wrong. Like, real. Like, Almighty J, different story. Like, he went on his other path. No, I don't even think he still rap. But Cordae, he still raps, but they knew that he was gonna outclass all of them if he was gonna be the one. Yeah, and Comethazine, bro, I mess with it. I mess with bro's music. Like, that's the reason why I was kind of sad when he fell off. You know what I'm saying? But hey, let's go. Anyways, you know, make sure you guys go like, subscribe, and also make sure you guys go, you know what I'm saying, go follow my socials down below. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys go turn on them post notifications so you guys get notified. My bad, y'all. Notified every single time I post. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, that was a pretty good reaction. I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace out.